It sounded exactly the same. I didn't hear any difference in that whatsoever. What's going on? We got something really cool at the range today. A true SD gun, but in a Scorpion. Monadnock Firearms. Check them out. Instagram link will be below. Use code SteveMP5 nationwide to save you some scratch on stuff you normally could not save on. Check them out. Link Instagram will be below. You're probably thinking to yourself, Steve, there is no such thing as a Scorpion SD. Well, you were right until now. So, the guys over at Novox Research and Nexus Firearms teamed up to release a true Scorpion SD barrel. Now, most companies will market an SD gun as a silencer tucked under a handguard like you see here, and they call it an SD. Doesn't matter what it is, a so-and-so SD, a this and that SD. But it is not a true SD. A true SD is like my MP5 SD, where it has a short ported barrel that bleeds off extra gas to make supersonic ammo subsonic. So you can take your cheaper ammo and keep it quiet like a 147 or higher would run with a silencer. So that is a really big plus to running an SD. The downside to most SDs is it gets dirty really quickly, it's a pain to clean, so a lot of times because of that, you don't shoot it a lot. I don't shoot my MP5 SD as much as I would like to because it's just a pain to clean. So in comes Novox. The designer and Nexus is the distributor for the barrel. They designed a ported barrel that's slightly different than like a true MP5 SD barrel, and it helps keep the system a little cleaner. From what I understand, the porting on the barrel is chamfered just ever so slightly forward to keep the gases moving forward instead of gunking up with carbon all over the ports. Now, this is going to be first shots here today, so I can't comment on the cleaning. I'm just going off of what I'm told from them. You know, they've got, you know, X amount of rounds through it. I've seen pictures of the barrel with X amount of rounds through it, and it looks pretty clean. So take that for what it is. But what's really cool about it overall is that you can get into this platform for way less than any other SD I'm familiar with on the market. My MP5 SD, you got to build those. It's a whole process. They're very expensive. Scorpion EVOs, now this is an original OG EVO 3S1. These things can be had for less than $1,000, and then the barrel swap itself is just a few $100. So it's really easy. You can do all of this yourself. You don't have to send it off to, you know, an armorer or a special guy that only works on that platform like you do on an MP5 SD. The receiver on these, they come apart super easy. Barrel swap, super easy. I'll throw in some pictures, the barrel side by side, to show you just kind of how easy it is to put this thing together, and to show you that the ported SD barrel is almost exactly as long as the Scorpion EVO K barrel that I had in here. Now the K barrel and that barrel, so the same length, so you're getting the overall same footprint that you would if you ran a K with a silencer on it and a handguard. So this is what my gun looked like with the normal K barrel on a tri-lug with the silencer. But now the true SD barrel is here to make it even better. I've also got my short K handguard here today. I'm going to swap back and forth from this to that, so just to show you with it on the gun what it would look like with if you wanted to run a stubby handguard, and show you, just give you an idea what that looks like. Let's do some shooting. I got 115 grain and I got some 147s. So let's just see how much different the 115 is from the 147s. Theoretically, it should be essentially the same because the porting is going to bleed it off to take it to subsonic levels. So let's do some shooting. The ammo I'm going to be running today in the 147s and the 115s is unlimited ammo. These are Red Rockets. Love these, super quiet. Love running these. Check those out if you want some 147s. All right, going to run 3 115s and 3 147s straight back to back, and just kind of see what the sound difference is like on the SD barrel. Here we go. It sounded exactly the same. I didn't hear any difference in that whatsoever. Same thing, 3 and 3, 115, 147. If anything, that time, the 147 sounded just a hair of a deeper tone than the 115. But again, I actually did this off camera with no ears in, and pleasant to shoot. I'm not sure, I didn't bring the SD here, my MP5 SD here with me today, but I've just recently had that at the range shooting with no ears. And man, it's close. If it's not the same, it's very close. That MP5 SD is perfect. This is like right there. And I mean, for what you're paying for this setup, you legitimately can't beat it. Like, this is now one of my favorite guns to shoot because of that SD capability and the price point and just the ease of everything about it. Magazines are cheap, parts are cheap. I already had it all dressed up. It's just really a beautiful setup. Before I swap to the stubby handguard, I want to show you what this looks like on the K barrel I had with a tri-lug on it. If you were to set this thing in here right on top, this is basically the same. So what I'm running here is an old school silencer code 9HD. Directly threads on here. It's a little bit of a longer can, so with the baffles and it's not a flow through, it's going to provide more of a more quiet experience than, you know, a flow through would, and something with less baffles than this. So that's why I chose this can for this gun. It's what I originally ran on it on the long handguard, as I just showed you. But I wanted to show you with it off on the gun. So, you know, there's a little taper here that is the barrel. This sleeve slides over top. Porting is here. This is essentially like a really large blast chamber. And then the silencer is here, and you got some barrel supports in throughout as well to keep the barrel from flexing and moving. So all things on this are just set up perfectly. Wanted to show you what that looked like with the handguard off the gun. I'll show you with the K handguard on. All right, so here it is in K configuration. For some reason, the K configuration, even with a long can, it just does it for me. Like, it looks super cool in this short stubby K configuration, short stubby handguard. Now, what I'll mention is, if you're gonna run this, you know, you're gonna have, I think the only handguards that are available are these aluminum style handguards. You're gonna want some sort of foregrip or hand stop. So if you're running a pistol, it might be a little more difficult, but you know, as this is an SBR, I can throw a grip on this thing because the handguard is gonna get warm. If you're shooting it a lot, it's gonna get warm. So on the long handguard, I didn't have a vert grip on there, and holding on to the handguard, it just started to get pretty warm. So not hot, but it was warm. If I kept going, I'm sure it would have got hotter. But running a vertical grip like this, even though this one is aluminum, you can get polymer versions from A3 Tactical. They do a nice job at mitigating that. This 115 I got in right here, no 147. Let's do it. Guys, it's awesome. Like, I love this thing. Let me know in the comments if you like it in this silhouette, so like this short handguard with a longer exposed barrel, or the like SD style long handguard to hide the can, just with that can poking out a little bit at the end. Tell me what you think below. But man, I don't know. The K, like, this is how I've had it for years. On the 3-lug, I had, you know, just the 3-lug poking out. So it was a great bag gun. Even with a small can, it made it a really nice bag gun. So this just looks awesome like this. So I'm torn. But for sure, I think for me, with the SD barrel, I think I want a little bit more real estate to have, like, you know, different lights and stuff, and because there's really not a whole lot here. Not a whole lot of room to mount lights and switches and stuff with the grip being where it is. So I think the SD handguard or the longer handguard, carbine length handguard, is the way to go for this setup. If I was going to do it in a bag, maybe a different story, but again, it's a little longer. Even with the stock folded, I mean, this will go in a bigger backpack. Either way, long handguard or not. So I don't know, I think long handguard for me, but this does look really sweet. Guys, that really does it for this video. Don't forget, I'm most active on the Instagram at SteveMP5. And just overall, this is just an awesome project. I love companies innovating and doing things in the aftermarket that manufacturers just don't do, won't do for whatever reason. But this is awesome. One of my newest favorite builds to date. If you got an EVO, it really makes sense to do something like this because it's easy and it's cheap. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.